Good evening. 2 people were killed and 51 injured in a multiple pile-up on the M6 near Birmingham. The dead were among a party of old-age pensioners travelling in a coach from Liverpool. The accident happened when the coach was in collision with a tanker carrying liquid nitrogen, an articulated lorry and a number of cars. Soviet officials have accused the American Defence Secretary of trying to torpedo this week's arms control talks in Geneva. This follows the leaking of a letter from the Defence Secretary Caspar Weinberger, which warned President Reagan not to give in to pressure during talks with his Soviet counterpart, Mr. Gorbachev. Mr. Reagan tried to play down the affair after arriving at his Geneva hotel. Asked if he would sack Mr. Weinberger, he replied, "Hell no." Mrs. Thatcher says she is determined to carry through the Anglo-Irish agreement on Northern Ireland, which she signed last week with the Irish Premier, Dr. Garret FitzGerald. Speaking on ITV's Weekend World, she said the agreement was aimed at beating the men of violence because violence and democracy could not exist together. Terry Waite, the Archbishop of Canterbury's special envoy, is to hold talks with American officials as part of his efforts to persuade Muslim kidnappers to free 4 hostages. Mr. Waite is on his way back to London from Beirut after secret talks with the group whose members are holding the American hostages. In Colombia, there's now little hope of finding any more survivors following last week's volcanic eruption, which killed 22,000 people, and rescue workers are being evacuated. That's all from Channel 4 News this weekend. The next bulletin from ITN is on ITV at 6:30.
Now let's see what the weather holds in store. England and Wales will have patchy fog and frost overnight, though early on there could be a few spots of rain in southern and southeast England. Scotland and Northern Ireland will have a good deal of cloud, but southeast Scotland could have a slight frost for a few hours after dusk. Most places will stay dry, but the far northwest of Scotland is expected to have some rain overnight. Tomorrow, any frost or fog will clear fairly readily during the morning, with much of Britain having some sunshine from time to time. In the far northwest, cloud will be rather persistent, with rain at times. It'll be a rather cold day, especially over England and Wales. In Northern Ireland and Western Scotland, temperatures will be above the seasonal norm. Now on for the business programme.
Good evening. Tonight in Harrogate, the Confederation of British Industry begins its annual conference.